Hello fellow humans and welcome to the shop review. Now, obviously I kind of stopped doing videos in individual bundles because I will still do them for the very relevant ones, but the thing is there is no point in making 10 videos every single time one tank comes in the shop. So I'll more like do a one video for all the bundles. So it's better for you because you have to watch less videos. It's better for me because I don't have to make 10 videos in the same tank every time. Now, let's have a look. Obviously, what is still there by the time the video comes up, and very briefly, is gonna be these, and that is an absolute recommendation from me right there. The Dangerous Duo, obviously, great tanks, definitely worth buying. If not, get only the T28 one. Now, the Lance and Moose, overpriced, don't get it, no. Tog, very fun little tank for special modes. It's a bit annoying in regular battles, but for special modes, it is definitely a great tank. You get 14 days of premium. You get times 5 XPs that apply to all vehicles. Thank you, Wargaming. For once, they have good times 5 XPs, which means you can use these to grind your other tanks. You have some gold lying around. This can be a pretty good bundle because you also get some credit boosters as well that you can use if you're grinding credits for a premium tank, and you get 2 weeks of premium as well. So these boosters, they should be in every single bundle. Don't have those ones that are just locked to one tank. This is what it should be. This is good. Yeah, 5.5k gold for this bundle. It isn't as good of a bundle as like the T34 or Jagdtiger bundles, as in you don't have the 30 days of premium, you don't have the 500,000 credits. However, you get 2 useless collect them all containers, unfortunately. So in terms of the pricing, this is higher than the T34 Jagdtiger 88 bundles for 5.5k because you get less for your money. Now, Lorraine is a very decent tank if you are a strong player. This tank is 4-shot autoloader, 20 seconds to reload, 225 alpha damage, 8 degrees gun depression, relatively solid mobility, 0 armor whatsoever. So this is a tank that I would only recommend for a good player. Otherwise, stay away from it. What I wouldn't recommend at all, ever, is these two. Now, double M-Tech, the Super Hellcat, the regular Hellcat, which is a tier lower, is better than the Super Hellcat. This thing is an absolute no-go, no buy at all for the Super Hellcat, especially not because it's 6,000 gold. And look at that, the Tog 2,500, this is a great bundle. It's not like one of the main things that you buy, but this is, if you have some gold lying around, get it. Absolutely worth it. So this, no. T28 HTC is an absolute piece of garbage. This thing is useless beyond useless, except for if you really like not having speed and not having a turret, and it can be penned all the time in these extremities here. So essentially, no matter what you do, you could get it penned, except for a couple of situations where you can like hide this side and then turn the gun. So this is a vehicle that I would absolutely do not recommend, and it is pretty damn horrible. So do not buy this bundle at all. Now, T15 and Panzer 2J, I mean, the 2 tier 3s, there's no point. I mean, maybe to sell them. Let's have a look at the sell price of these vehicles. Panzer 2J is worth 1,000 gold, and the T15 is worth 950 gold. So you're getting 2,000 gold almost for 4 euros. You know, you have 3,000 gold for 5 euros, so you're not really getting that great of a deal. So I wouldn't recommend those. We got the Kyler already. I made a separate video about that vehicle. It's obviously not worth it for 15k. The Premium Pass is always worth it. The Premium Pass is a great thing to have. If you play more than 300 battles a month, then it's an absolutely amazing thing to have. If you play less, maybe not so much. I don't think I have to talk about the crates. This thing is a piece of shit, and the crates make it even worse, so don't bother with it at all. Now here we go with the Lorraine 40T, and this is a vehicle that I would only really recommend it to one type of player, and that is you already have all the credit grinding premium tanks. T54 E2, which is still in the shop as of the release of the video, a MXM49, a Chimera, a Object 2 FTU. Then you're a very good player, like 55% plus ideally, and you want to challenge yourself while grinding credits. That's the type of player I would recommend this vehicle to, and no one else. This is not a beginner tank. This is not a easy tank to play. This is extremely difficult, so I would only recommend it to good players that know what they're doing. Now, speaking of good players, we have a T55A with a high rank that is camping in the back of the map that is not in a clan. So at that point, you can instantly see, okay, he's not good, he's a bad player, he's a mobile hit point depository. Which is a very important thing to know about the game. If you know who are the bad players, you can decide, okay, your hit points are going to be useful to me because you are not going to be useful to yourself, basically. So, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to back off here, and he's camping. He's not a good player. That's clear at this point. No one that plays like that is good in a medium tank. So, especially in a T28. Like, I've made a video a while ago about, like, what things there are to identify a bad player. Like, what things tend to be an indicator for a bad player. But also is an indicator for German engineering is that if you put the gearbox and the final drive in the front and oil burns nicely, is that you get set on fire a lot. So that's very nice damage there onto the Jagdtiger. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm sitting back here, obviously, because I don't want to risk my hit points when I can risk the T28's hit points, because his hit points are more useful to me than they are to him at this point. Which sounds selfish, of course. However, that's how you win more battles. If you know what teammates are good, what teammates you can rely on, and what teammates you have to use to extract performance out of them, you win more battles. It's that simple. Obviously, it only works if you're a very good player and you know, if you're not a good player, that doesn't work. Duh. Now, at this point, we're trying to take out the M4190 very easily, and the ISU helps out with the Jagdtiger. Beautiful. There we go. 1.8k damage in Lorraine. Now, this tank, again, very difficult to play. Only for really, really good players. Now, at this point, I'm like, T28, yo, take the stage. Do something. I believe in you. You can do this, little guy. I want him to succeed. But I just simply know that most likely he won't. So, at this point, the reload of Lorraine is very long, 20 seconds, which means you can't really play that aggressive with it. And you always sort of want to have some kind of backup, right? Because if you're alone in Lorraine, you get pushed, you're on reload, you can't do anything, you have 0 armor, you're going to get shot and killed. Now, you got to use them rubber wheels to get into a better position with it. And obviously, I have 1,300 assistance damage, but it doesn't actually show in the replay. The only reason this is a replay is because I'm dumb. So, like, the game happened like 3 minutes ago, but I have to use the replay because of reasons. Anyway, T30, very easy target right there. He's dead. Tank Destroyer is doing a great job. T28 is going for it. He's having a great time. He's living his life, which is great. So, just wish he would actually know a bit more about what he's doing, ideally. And now, at this point, all we gotta do is push forward. And you gotta play this tank very passively, right? You gotta essentially leech off your team to get the best performance out of it. Because if you try to play aggressive, if you're the one that gets targeted, if you're the one that gets shot at, it's not gonna work with this tank. That's what you can do in an i7, that's what you're gonna do in a 6TP. You can get shot, you'll be fine. With this tank, that doesn't work. You can't get shot. If you get shot, you die. So, very hard tank to play. 5.5k is a good price. It's not as great of a bundle price as it is with a T34 or the Jagdtiger 8.8 that is sold sometimes, right? So you have that disadvantage. And it is only a tank that I recommend to good players that already have a lot of premium tanks. Otherwise, I would not get this vehicle because it is very hard to play. And the more damage you do, the better you do, the more creds you get. So now we go with the Tog. Now, this is not a legit tank to grind creds or anything like that. Of course not. It's a meme tank. It works best in fun modes. And whenever you're like, what do I play? I want to be a weirdo right now. Then the Tog is your best option at that point. Now, this is not a legit vehicle, really, to grind creds with, obviously. However, it can be a little fun toy. And with the other stuff that is in this bundle, it can be a pretty good investment, surely. Now, obviously, you're not going to get any return of that investment because everything you buy in Blitz will never get back to you. And once the servers get shut down, you will never be able to retain anything of it. So keep that in mind when you buy something in Blitz. Now, let's go. Cryos, very high DPM. It's weird that vehicle even exists. Just as weird as the new ship in World Tanks, World of Warships. So, but Wargaming is very good at doing random fuck-ups that everyone could have predicted. Now, this vehicle should be loaded in one configuration only, and that is 69 AP shells and 69 APCR shells. No HE necessary. That is the only way to load out this vehicle. Everything else you do is wrong. Now, let's have a look. Ideally, boosting your hit points is also very useful, but again, you have a limited amount of hit points, which means if you do get shot by two very high DPM tank destroyers, then those hit points will disintegrate very quickly because you have no armor whatsoever. So, this is not a very competitive tank, but it's a very funny tank. So, that's the stance on this thing. Now, let's see Whether we can get some shots on the Poodle when he's crossing. Nope, not quite. And now the Britannia Panther. He's obviously got more hit points at this point, but let's see if we can track him up in the air. Always shoot the tracks if you can. It's very useful. And there we go. Got rid of him. And now, the problem and why I don't like slow tanks is because zero tactical variety, right? You can't go where you want to go. You can't take shots where you want to take shots. You have to decide you go in one position, and that's where you stay for the most part, because it's going to take ages to get out, which is not how I like to play, which means I'm not a fan of slow tanks. I'm not a fan of tanks that don't have any variety to it, and this is one of them, unfortunately. It's slow. You can't really move around much, and if you have two enemies shooting at you, you're not going to have a great time, but it is a fun tank. It is a tank that is purely a meme. It has some meme value, and for that, I can recommend it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next one. Goodbye.